Hello, I'm Danny O'Neill, STEP's Director of Media, and I've got with me on the line someone very interesting. Andrea, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Andrea Callender, and I am the Director of Equality, Diversity and Inclusion for Arup.
Lovely. Let's dive straight in. So, I imagine in January 2020 you had all sorts of plans and projects for the year ahead. Tell me what happened beyond the kind of general confusion and chaos that ensued. What were the acute challenges for Arup?
So, the acute challenges for Arup were that we had a global pandemic, hesitate to use the word unprecedented, which we weren't clear how it would impact on our EDI agenda. We took the decision that we would do two things. We would continue our work on getting our colleagues to understand what respecting each other at work really means. And we decided that we needed to have a specific program of activities and support around race and ethnicity issues. And that's where we decided to work with STEPS, because what STEPS offered us was an integrated path to having conversations and equipping, passing on, transferring that capability to our members across the firm to be able to discuss really sensitive topics like how to be an ally for BAME people in a way that was supportive and helped to build their confidence. And what we've seen subsequently is there was a huge interest in taking part in some of the STEPS conversations around active allyship. It spun off other conversations across the firm. Feedback has been amazing. It was oversubscribed. We're hoping to run some more sessions throughout this year. But really the impact is, the impact is visible. We can see where people have accepted, they've immersed themselves in the interactive experience, and then they've been able to have the confidence and feel very open and more in charge when they do then have conversations with their colleagues around race. We opted to go with smaller, more intimate sessions for groups of up to about 30 people. There's a value in that intimacy, smaller groups of people having that safe space and that feeling of trust, and I can be vulnerable and I can be honest more quickly. And we found the conversation is what has been most valuable. What worked extremely well was the kind of seeing is believing, which is the STEPS team playing through a scenario and people being able to engage with the scenario, ask questions, and actually shape what happens next, guide what happens next. So I think it gave participants a feeling that they were in control of achieving a successful outcome, having seen a particular situation. And woven into that were some messages and some learning around what does allyship mean, what gets in the way of being an effective ally, what are some of the ways that you can practice being an ally? And we're a very practical environment. So I think people really appreciated those practical tools and techniques for how they could then leave the session and go away and apply what they had learned. What we realized quite quickly was that there was huge interest in the allyship sessions. And what we also realized was that we needed to deliver at scale. So STEPS came up with the idea of videocasts, which are like being on this podcast, but you can actually see the participants. And what we did is we filmed STEPS filmed for us 3 videocasts where we had a group of Arup colleagues experiencing, engaging with, witnessing particular scenarios. It's a package of face-to-face, as well as things that you can go off and explore on your own in your own time. One of the things that STEPS has suggested to us is that we reinforce messages through a program of nudges, which I think is something that, again, just helps to prolong people being in that learning headspace and to apply what they've learned. At this stage, we're really satisfied, at the impact it's had already. It's unprecedented to have a waiting list for any training in Arup. Yeah, we had over 200 people sign up last October when we launched the allyship series. We had over 200 people on a waiting list. 200 people who don't, who are not the usual cast of suspects. So we had leaders. We know that we all know how important leaders being engaged is, to driving change and to getting their teams engaged and to actually making change happen. What we're thinking about now is, okay, we've had a really good conversation around supporting our BAME colleagues. But the mission for us is inclusion. And within that, what else might we need to do?
You've been one of our kind of virtual and digital pioneers at STEP, so we're excited to work with you going forward into 21. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome, Danny. Take care.